Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. Check it out, I'm trying out this new border. I hope you like it, you've seen it before. Most of you have seen it before, but I'm just trying it in this format. Anyway, welcome back to Football Therapy, hope you're doing well. I really do hope that Chelsea are playing in the Champions League. Yeah, so languishing in 10th, back down to 10th, it's putting back down in 10th position is like putting on a warm, familiar jumper. You just know where you are, you're used to it, you're like, this is who we are now. Of course I jest, many people will be upset with me saying that, but look, we spoke about on the recent upload about where we are in the project, being judged on years and not months, and actually trying to build a young team at Chelsea that will compete for a long time, and not just have fleeting hiring and firing moments of peaks of performances and then, disaster seasons. We're looking to evade the disaster seasons. We're playing Dortmund in the Champions League, and let's be honest, it would be the most Chelsea thing ever to win the Champions League, despite not being favoured for it at all. Of course, the previous times we've won said competitions, the previous 2 times, just a quick reminder that Chelsea have multiple European Cups. Multiple. The previous times, we were not fancied to win it at all. And of course, both times we overcame adversity and won. Now, Chelsea, I think, throughout the season will get better. Players will come back, chemistry will be developed between players, and we will get better. That's just my feeling. Call me an optimist, but that's just how I feel. And is this Dortmund game coming too soon, or is it coming at the perfect time to ignite a bit of form? Under the lights in Dortmund. Invigorating, get the juices flowing. Chelsea does have Champions League success in its blood. Many of the players in the squad, of course, are Champions League winners. In fact, maybe not the majority, seeing as we've bought a new squad. Yeah, the majority, whatever. Again, hearing that music, muscle memory, a conditioned response. Reece James and Ben Chilwell. Who knows, Mason Mount might find his form again when he played really well in the Champions League. Really get inside the heads of these players. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about lineup, Dortmund's form, who's favourites, etc. Thank you for joining me. I know you should drop a like. I'm missing a bit of skin on my finger there, and I'm at this crucial point where I don't know whether to just take the skin off and let it scab up, or try and let the skin heal and revitalize and fill the crater. Stay tuned, and I'll keep you posted on developments with my finger. So football is going to happen to us. Football is going to happen to us. I'm sorry, I apologise, but football almost certainly, in fact, is definitely going to happen to us away in Dortmund. Dortmund are favourites to win this game, certainly this first leg away in Dortmund. They are 29-20. I think that's 3 to... I don't understand odds. Chelsea are 2-1 to win. They're outsiders, basically. But we can win. How will we go about this? We'll talk about that in just a moment. Formations, players. Of course, a big talking point remains that Benoit Badiashile has not been named in the Champions League squad, and he looks like our most successful new signing. Actually, that's probably not fair, because both Enzo and Felix have looked excellent. Even Madueke's looked bright at times. So you know what? Heck, we do look good, the new signings. But yeah, certainly none no more than Benoit Badiashile. So 4 games he started, 1 goal conceded. What else can the guy do? Of course, also, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang not listed. I heard on the Straight Out of Cobham podcast, the Chelsea podcast by The Athletic, talk about the narrative that would have been had Thomas Tuchel still been at Chelsea, had Aubameyang been listed in the Champions League squad in terms of the return from Dortmund. But we do have Pulisic, but I think he's still injured, and it's been a while, so there isn't that sort of narrative link for journalists and people to drool over. Look, let's have a look at Dortmund's form, shall we? And take a deep breath. Last time out, Dortmund won 2-0 against Werder Bremen. Then they beat, previously to that, in the Pokal, they beat Bochum. Previously to that, they beat Freiburg 5-1. Yeah, sorry. Previously to that, they beat Leverkusen away 2-0. Previously to that, they beat Mainz away 2-0. Previously to that, they beat Augsburg. They scored 4. Previous to that, they beat Dusseldorf 5-1. Now, this is the 10th of January, so they have a winter break. Since this winter break, they've been on a relentless winning streak. Previously to that, I'm looking on the results here, they lost 2-1 to Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam. So I'm guessing they played the Vietnamese international side in a friendly on the winter break and lost. And previously to that, they lost 4-2 to Borussia Mönchengladbach and they lost 2-0 to Wolfsburg. So they were in poor form, horrendously blocked nose, before their winter break, and they've since come back and they've just been taking names, which isn't ideal for us in terms of a Chelsea perspective. And in fact, I'd go as far to say it's rather frustrating and not good. But this isn't the Bundesliga. This is 10th place Chelsea coming to town, mate. We're going to slap you up. I genuinely believe this is an opportunity for us to make a change and look good. You know, do something different, get stimulated, play into the high line philosophy or ethos of the Bundesliga and get players in behind like your João Felix, etc. So let's talk about Chelsea moving forwards. Or at least in this game, I mean. Well, this is moving forwards, it's tomorrow, and tomorrow is forwards. How are we going to go about this? I've seen an immense amount of discussion. A lot of people speculating on whether we'll go back to a back 3 formation. Now, I kind of get why. A lot of you might feel frustrated by that because you'll think, our defence is good. It's not our defence, even though we concede the odd silly goal. It's their attack. So going to a back 3 isn't smart. But there is an argument for it. Well, there's a couple of arguments for it. The first argument is called Kalidou Koulibaly. So, as a Chelsea player, he's looked better in the left centre back 3 role than he has partnering Thiago Silva. So he's obviously been registered in the Champions League squad, and Benoit Badiashile hasn't. So he will occupy that left hand side regardless. You could say, Chelsea might. I know Wesley Fofana's not ready, I don't think. So you could say, we'll just play Chalobah and Thiago Silva in the back 2. I don't think that's the answer, personally. Well, it might be. But you know what? I tell you what. There's the 2 options. You play the back 3 of Thiago Silva flanked by Chalobah and Kalidou Koulibaly. And the second point I was going to make on why this could work is you could maximise the effect of 2 Champions League winning wing-backs in the form, of course, Reece James and Ben Chilwell. And all of us are absolutely clucking and gagging for a Ben Chilwell full return to the starting lineup. He looks infinitely better when he came on for Marc Cucurella. Cucurella's getting a lot of stick from the Chelsea fans, both online and present in the stadiums. And he's not looking good at the moment. And, by all accounts, he's going through some personal stuff off the pitch that's affecting his form. So, wish him well. And he has demonstrated he can be a good player. So we'll cross our fingers and toes that he returns to said form in the Chelsea lineup because we paid £62 million for him. Yeah, like nearly the price of 2 N'Golo Kantes. So, we'll hope for that. I reckon he will come back to some form and we'll find a way to utilise him. But, Ben Chilwell playing on the left-hand side, making that inverted striker run, etc. So, I'm going to build 2 lineups. Off the dome piece, a back 3 and a back 4 formation. So, let's take a deep breath and get cerebral. Sorry that I'm sniffing, I know it's gross, but Bretta's got a cold. Alright, so back 3 formation. Look, Kepa's going to be in goal regardless. If I go for the 3 centre-backs, I'm going Thiago Silva, flanked with Chalobah on the right. Well, that's your right, innit? And Kalidou Koulibaly on the left, hopefully covering up for his recent flaws. Well, not flaws, inconsistencies. Plus, also, he has a bit more licence to gallop forwards. And, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. Wing-backs pick themselves. Ben Chilwell, Reece James, and then the midfield 3. So it depends. I think probably a midfield 3 and not 2, and then a front 2. That's what I think. So I'm going to go with Enzo Fernandez. And he's going to be flanked by Mateo Kovacic, as he's been in training. Obviously speaks Spanish from his Madrid days, and Champions League football just suits Mateo Kovacic, I think. So I'm going to put Kovacic next to him, and I'm going to put Ruben Loftus-Cheek next to him again. I'm going to give him another start because he did look good. He did look good. So that's a midfield three. You've got the legs and the ball progression. So you've got the passing from Enzo Fernandez, and you've got the ball progression in terms of ball carrying from both Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Mateo Kovacic. Both, of course, excellent and adept dribblers. And we just make a front two. Of course, João Felix, playing in the number 10 second striker role. He sort of picks himself like Enzo and James and Chilwell, I think. And you're not going to want to hear it. And I heard them talk about this on that podcast again. I am going to put Kai Havertz back in. And yes, he was frustrating. He did score an offside goal in the last game, but he's going back to Germany. He's playing against a Bundesliga club he's probably scored before. It's a slightly different style of football. They've been a bit more gung-ho lately. I think the return to Germany and what is seemingly some sort of relationship with João Felix will be enough. For me, you know, I'd like to see Datro Fofana off the bench again. I wouldn't throw Datro Fofana straight in for the striker. I feel like because of the nature of, you know, Kai Havertz has Champions League pedigree. Don't make me sing the song. So yeah, there's a lot of, you know, in fact, can I do something here? This might wait, you must bear with me one moment, guys, because I'm going to see if I can load up the song while I record live. I know you probably will. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can do this.
Ooh, Roman, do you know what that's worth? Kai Havertz is the best on earth. The silky German is just what we need. He won Chelsea the Champions League. He won Chelsea the Champions League. Oh God.
Yeah. See, the funny thing about that is I couldn't hear it. I know you guys can. So yeah, hopefully that caught many of you out and you found it funny. Yeah, so Kai Havertz gets another chance because of the Champions League pedigree. And in the back four, let's just theorise that as well. Also, by the way, I wanted to say, if Kovacic or Ruben Loftus-Cheek, they could also be replaced by potentially a Dennis Zakaria, which I'm going to talk about now. So in a back four, I will go the wing-backs, we'll go full-backs, Ben Chilwell, and Reece James. It will, of course, be Thiago Silva, and I guess Koulibaly needs to start this game, otherwise what's he doing? So we worry about that partnership. If we can do a double pivot of Enzo Fernandez and Dennis Zakaria, so a 4-2, I would be very pleased with that. And then you got to have the three behind the one. So we use wingers. We use João Felix in the 10, flanked by Madueke and flanked by Michalo Mudryk. I would have turned to Hakim Ziyech because also can perform in the Champions League quite well, but he didn't do enough for me. In fact, he was poor last time out. So when he came on and gave the fouls away and all that kind of stuff against West Ham. So, and then again, you know what? We could do Datro Fofana in a 4-2-3-1 and just see what he does up there and like a striker with more attackers around him. Maybe that's a good idea, but maybe at the same time, the pitch I made for Kai Havertz and this sort of, not last chance, but like the reason why this game probably suited him, you kind of, you know, you just play Kai Havertz really, I think. Alright guys, well, I'm going to put it out to you guys. What do you think of our lineups? How do you think the game will go? Can Chelsea beat Dortmund and win the Champions League? You decide, boys and girls. Comment down below, like video, and subscribe. Should you want to do so, you should hit the sweet, sweet bell, baby. God help us.